angle of B and C is not given. This is B and that's C. We need to find. And we also need to have length of A. Length of B is 15 and length of C equal to 30. So we are looking for this 3 unknown. And there's nothing else we can find, right? If you look at this triangle, there's nothing else. Question, Yvette?
No.
So in order to solve, we will, the easiest type of triangle is the right triangle when we have a 90 degrees. If this is 90, if I show exactly perpendicular, this is not 90 degrees, correct? I made it like this. If I make it like this, then that's a 90 degrees, but this is not. If it was a 90 degrees, it would be much easier to solve. In your note sheet, you should have little part of your note sheet about all the formula that you can apply to the right triangle. If we don't have a right triangle, for any other type of triangle, we have two type of laws. One of them is law of sine, another one law of cosine. If you compare law of sine and law of cosine, law of sine is much easier to work with. So I'm going to make another layer to go over law of sine one more time. So for any type of triangle, this is A, B, C. This is A, this is C, and that's lowercase b. Law of sine said sine of this angle, which is sine of A, divided by the length of the side front of it, equal to sine of B, this guy, divided by this B front of it, and equal to sine of C over C. So this is law of sine. And we can, if you're going to use it, we will use, so we have two equal sign here. We pick two at the same time. You can use this two, or you can use this two, or this and that one. That was law of sine. Law of cosine is like A squared, like this length squared, equal to B squared plus C squared, almost same as Pythagorean, but minus 2BC cosine of A. So this will be. We also can write for other sides, like we can say B squared equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. So this B here related to this, the length of the beginning, this A related to this A. And we also can say C squared equal to, we also can say C squared equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. All right. So we have those two laws in our note sheets. Somebody's trying to add. Elizabeth. Good. So with this knowledge, we're going to go to look at the question. So we know we need to use one of the property of law of sine, law of cosine for solving. You might have 2 or 3 questions for this in final exam. So I try to use law of sine to see if it works or not. If I say law of, not law, it is sine of 30. So if I say sine of 30 divided by a equal to sine of c. So law of sine is not working. Let's do law of cosine. So law of cosine, anytime we have two sides, length of two sides, we have B and C, and the measure of the angle between them, then law of cosine will work. So I'm going to say a squared equal to b squared plus c squared minus minus 2 bc cosine of a. So are you guys following me? Are you guys there? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so we picked the right formula because with this we are y is right formula because we have a, measure cosine of a, we can find. We have c, we have b, and we have c, we have b. A is unknown, so we can solve for a. So let's do it. Equal to 15 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 15 times 30 times cosine of 30 degrees. So 15 squared is 225 plus 30 squared might be 900 minus 900. 2 times 15 is 30. 30 times 30 is 900. Cosine of 30 is radical 3/2. So not all the time we're going to have a good angle for the solving triangle. So you're going to use your calculator. What happens to be 30 degrees, I use exact value. So here we don't want to do any algebraic mistake. So we are dealing with a squared. We have 225 plus 900. This gives us 1,125 minus 900 divided by 2 is 450 radical 3. So we need to use a calculator here. And can you guys tell me what is the answer? So we put 1,125 minus 450 times radical 3. This should be in the parentheses if you're going to write in the, if you're going to write everything in the calculator. Can you guys tell me what's the answer?
I got 345.6.
Thanks, Yvette. I know you're busy. Thank you. So that's a squared, correct? And we have to make a radical of that. So a will be radical 345.6. So I need to use my, you guys can tell me if you can, if you have a calculator. The answer is approximately 18.6. So we got the length of A will be 18.6. So now we need to solve for measure of C, the angle, and measure of B. We know if you, when we add them up, we're gonna get 180, but you have two unknown. So you need to use law of sine and law of cosine again. So let's see if we can use law of sine. Again, we don't want to use law of cosine all the time. Law of cosine is very expensive. Like Bitcoin, that you use a lot of energy to mine a Bitcoin. Law of sine is much easier to deal with. So I'm going to say sine of 30 degrees divided by 18.6, which is side front of it, equal to sine of C divided by 30. So this works because the only unknown is C here. And I should be able to solve for that because one equation, one unknown. We cross multiply, we get 30 multiplied by sine of 30 degrees equal to 18.6 sine of C. So sine of 30 degree, again, this is the exact value. I can just plug half. So it will be 30 multiplied by half equal to 18.6 sine of C. Then I 30 multiplied by 1/2 is 15. I divided by 18.6 equal to sine of C. What is 15 divided by 18.6? Is 0.806. This is sine of C. Now, how do we solve for the C? Karen will tell me.
It has to be inverse, no?
Very good. So we're going to say C equal to sine inverse of 0.806. So you need to have a calculator for this. Whatever is that, it will be plugged here. Who wants to share the answer?
About 54 degrees.
54 degrees. About 54 degrees. Very good. So we got this. Now, how do we solve for B?
You need to what's it called? You need to get 180. So
Very
you need
good.
to
So
yeah.
we add them up. We will add them up. And it's going to be 84. And that B going to be 96. Yeah. Any question for this? Anything weird you see here? So because algebraically everything is right. Is that something here bothering you guys? Or everything makes sense? I draw this picture as well. Is everything good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no. But I mean, what I'm going to explain, I'm not going to ask you guys in the final exam. So do not freak out. You don't need to do those algebra. We find C equal to 54. Correct, Yvette?
Yeah.
Very good. Look at the C here. Is this looks like 54 to you? No, 54. I mean, this is more than 54. I mean, more than 90 degrees. But and B, we find 96. Okay. We didn't do anything wrong. I mean, nothing algebraically wrong. But the measure that we got, when you look at the picture, I said this B cannot be 96. I mean, this will be 90. 96 is going to be a little more like that. So anytime we use sine inverse, do you remember we have two values for sine? We find sine inverse of 0.806. The answer we got so the answer we got sine, I saw this C and then I put this C equal to sine inverse of 0.806. We got 54 degrees. This is beautiful and it's correct. In this units in the circle, we know we have two values for sine. This is 54 degrees. Also, sine of 126 degree, 126, 30, yeah. If you subtract 180 minus 54, we get 126 degree. So there are two different answers here. You need to look at the picture. Is that angle looks like 54 or 126? By visualizing it, oh, this is 126. So C will be 126 degrees. And if 126 degrees C, then B will be 50, 24 degrees. All right, does that make sense? Yvette, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna, I just want you guys to know it, that when we are solving for triangle, sometimes we have two solutions and sometimes there are no solutions. No solutions means when we do algebraically, we get something that our calculator gives us error. And we said there's no solutions. Sometimes there are two solutions. So this triangle has two solutions. One of them this C can be 54 degree, another one can be 126 degree. Just keep in mind for the next class in calculus or pre-calculus. But for this course, I'm okay. I'm not gonna challenge you guys. It would be straightforward.
Professor,
Yes.
do you teach applied calculus?
Applied or pre-calculus?
Applied, like Math 242?
No, I mean, I teach 222 this summer and 211 this summer.
Okay.
Fall, I have no idea. After this course, there will be pre-calculus and then applied calculus.
Yeah, but I already took pre-calculus. I have to take applied calculus, and
Oh, really?
yeah, I would want to take it with you, but I looked up and it didn't say that you had any classes.
Oh, thank you. That's good. Good for trying. So let's have another solving triangle? Are you going to take it this summer?
No, I'll probably take it in the fall.
That's a good idea, yeah. Summer is too much.
Yeah, it's too fast.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's solve this one. So in summer, I teach data science. I know I told you guys a few times, but that's the very good course, valuable course. I mean, having that course in your resume, it would be great. So let's solve this triangle. So solving, we love it because we're going to deal with the formulas, and you have the formulas in your note sheets. This is, unfortunately, is not the right triangle. That means you need to go through law of sine and cosine. So you know the path, correct? They ask us to solve, we need to have A, measure of B, angle of B, and length of C. And we have plenty of time. Final exam is 8:10 to 10:40. And if you want to stay longer, because I have no class that day, I can stay longer as well. No. It has to be on a certain time. But I don't, you mean you have enough time. I make sure you have plenty of time for each person. So what's happening here? Which law should we use? Or is there any easy, what's the easiest one to solve here?
Can't we use the law of sine because we have two sides?
Because we have two angles, right?
Or
So let's try it. If you say sine of 16 divided by A, one unknown, sine of 123 divided by C, we have two unknown. But can we solve for B here?
Yeah, it's 41 degrees.
Wow, Karen, very good. 41, are you sure? Oh, yeah. 41 degrees. So we solve this one very easily with adding up to be 180. Now let's see if Elizabeth is correct. We're going to say sine of 16 degree over A equal to sine of 123 degrees over C equal to sine of 41 over 5.5. This is entire of sine, law of sine. This part, we have everything. This is all is given. So I can use it to this to solve for C, or I can use these two to solve for A. I'm going to solve for A. So I'm going to say sine of 16 degree divided by A equal to sine of 41 degrees divided by 5.5. So this part, I mean, almost more than half of a solution because we pick the right formula and we come up with the equation that we are able to solve for one of the unknown. So from now on, we should make sure there's no algebraic mistake. So we don't want to plug this in the calculator. It doesn't make sense. We need to cross multiply. I'm going to multiply this 2, which will be 5.5 sine of 16 equal to A sine of 41 degrees. Then I'm going to divide it by sine of 41 degrees. Then I get A equal to 5.5 sine of 16 divided by sine of 41 degrees. Now you can type in the calculator. So the way you're going to type in the calculator, you need to put this one inside of the parenthesis, then divided by that one, sine of 41.
I got 2.31, but I didn't put the entire equation in parentheses. I just put sine 16 in parentheses.
But I remember you have a very cool calculator. I'm sure it's correct. But I mean, the way computer, I mean, for this case, I think you're right. But I have to make sure I don't even use the parenthesis. I multiply these two and get one number with all the decimal, and I divide that number by sine of 41. But I know
Yeah.
you guys want to type everything in the calculator, but make sure you have in parentheses everything. But 2.31 looks good to me. So this should be 2.31. Right? Is 2.31. How do we solve for C now?
Law of sine again.
Very good. So no Pythagorean, right? So we're going to use law of sine again, or we can use just these two. So we're going to have sine of 123 over C equal to sine of 41 over 5.5. I wish I could see my handwriting. I'm trying to put the camera here, but too late for this semester. But next semester, I make sure there is a camera to see my hand. So now I'm going to cross multiply C sine of 41 equal to 5.5 sine of 123 divided by sine of 41. Sine of 41. Our C will be this guy, which is
7.03.
accepted, 7.03. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Let's have one question that you guys don't like, but you will see it in exam, but I like. Okay. Don't want to scare you guys, but let's solve the equation. Tangent square of x minus 2 tangent of x equal to 0. X is between 0 and 2 pi. So what's the first thing we should do here to solve? We learned few techniques, right? What are those techniques? In order to solve, we're gonna, the good thing is everything is in one term. We have only tangents. But we have degree 2. What we do if the question was a squared minus 2a equal to 0? How do we solve for a?
Plus 2a.
Well, plus 2a, nothing is wrong. But if you remember, we did something. You asked me last session, oh, we're going to cancel the a. I said, we don't cancel what we are looking for. So if you take it the other side, you're going to cancel a, but I mean, v and a equal to 2. But we cancel one of the unknown that we were looking for. So having a 0 is actually good. It's good to have 0 other side. This is degree 2, that means quadratic. In order to solve quadratic, we can use quadratic formula or we can factor it. Here I can factor a, we have a minus 2 equal to 0, right? Then a equal to 0 or a equal to 2. So we have 2 solutions. We do the same thing there. So we factor it. I'm going to take tangent of x, parenthesis, tangent of x minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so it will be, one of them is tangent of x equal to 0. Another parenthesis is tangent of x minus 2 equal to 0. This is tangent x equal to 2. So now let's go back to this one. Tangent of x equal to 0. What is x? I know Yvette knows that. Yvette, what is that?
Is it 0?
Very good. Okay. So this is a question I didn't ask you to find the exact, but 0 is, you should see it in the table that here is 0. So x equal to 0 is one of the solution. Also x equal to 180 is another solution. You have that in your note sheet. In the unit circle, I mean. Tangent of x equal to 2. What is x? Now that Bitcoin crashed. There is no Bitcoin. How do we solve for x? I know Karen knows that. Karen, how do you solve for x?
Is it 2? I don't
No.
know.
Tangent of x equal to.
Oh, then I don't know.
You said it earlier for the sign, I believe. Tangent of what number is 2 on the circle that you have all the values of sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, secant, cosecant on the table. You don't see a value 2. You see 1/3, radical 3/3, 0, 1, we don't see 2. So because we don't see it, we use a calculator. Then x will be tangent inverse of 2. Whatever is that from your calculator.
When we solve for that inverse, do we leave it on degrees?
Well, if here I give you guys in radians, so you need to give me radians. So whatever is that, you convert it to radians. We can change the mode of your calculator to radians. I'm trying to, but easy question, but you need to apply the formula. I mean, it would, this type of formula, we can make it very tricky and very painful to solve. But my goal is that you guys know which formula to use and then use it, apply algebra correctly and get points. So this is given and we have enough information. Sine of cosine of theta is 5/13 and theta is in the third quadrant. No, it's fourth, 2 pi and 3 pi half. Theta is somewhere on here. That's theta. What is sine of 2 theta? When you look at the note sheet that you have, that's the notes that you have. Sine of 2 theta is 2 sine theta cosine theta. So that's the formula for sine of 2 theta. So cosine of theta is given right there. So I substitute. We have 2 sine theta. Cosine theta is 5/13. Now, what is sine of theta? Who should I ask? Yvette, I know knows it. What is sine of theta? How do we solve that?
Pythagorean.
Yeah, Pythagorean. So this is theta, correct? We make a right triangle. Cosine of theta is 5/13, which is x over r. So this is 5, this is 13. We use the favorite formula that Elizabeth loves, Pythagoras, will be 12. This will be 12. And actually it's -12 because it's, right? How do I know it's 12? I didn't solve it. 5, 12, 13 is one of the 3 Pythagorean numbers. This is 25 plus 144 gives you 169. So this is 12, but in this quadrant, this length is negative. What is sine of theta will be y over r, which is -12/13. So it will be 2 -12/13 multiplied by 5/13. If you multiply, you get -120/169, 39. And it's not, you cannot simplify it, leave it like this. Good. I call this one easy, just straightforward. You pick a formula, that's the scale. Another one here is another scale, how to find the other trig equations. Now let's see what is sine of theta over 2. So you go back to your note sheet. Don't just divide whatever we have, so that's half. No. So sine of theta over 2, there is a formula, half angle formula. This is plus minus radical 1 minus cosine of theta over 2. This is a half angle for sine. So it will be plus minus. Your job is to decide is a plus or minus. But let's worry about that later. Oops. Radical 1 minus cosine theta is given 5 over 13 divided by 2. This will be plus minus 13 minus 5 over 26. Where is that coming from? I find the common denominator. I multiply by 13, multiply by 13. So I got 13 minus 5 here. The denominator is 13. I multiply by 2. I got 26. So this will be equal to plus minus radical 7 over 26. Now, should we get plus or minus?
Isn't it 8?
I did purposely, Elizabeth. I know you use your calculator.
No.
The 8. Yeah. Good. So 8 over 26, that's great. We can simplify now. Plus minus radical divided by 2 is 4 over 13. This is plus minus 2 over root 13. We irrationalize it. Plus minus 2 root 13 over 13 by multiply by radical 13, radical 13. Now is my question, should we use plus or negative or minus?
Negative?
Negative?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Anybody else? Plus or negative? Where is theta? Theta is here, correct? In quadrant 4. Make an example like 300 is in quadrant 2. Quadrant 4 here. In quadrant 4, sine is negative. If you have this one, what do we get? We get 150, okay? We get 150 will be somewhere around here. Or if it's 350, for example. If you have this one, where do you go? Where do you end up? Is 150, 175, again, going to be somewhere around here because we are dealing with half, right? So whatever you have, whatever angle is here, if you have it, you will be somewhere around here. And in this quadrant, sine is positive. So Elizabeth is not correct. Plus.